Centipani. Evan, we've had a fantastic tour of Australia. Started out in Melbourne, had a few workouts across to South Australia, sellout show, across to Melbourne, Victoria, the Great Dallas Book Centre, sellout show, up to Queensland, sellout show, 2 days here, sold out. The people love you, Evan. How good is it to be halfway across the world and feel all this love from the fans?
It's been a hell of a trip. I mean, every venue we've been to has been sold out, it's been packed. The people have been awesome, they couldn't have been friendlier. And like you said, you know, to be halfway around the world and recognized and welcomed and just treated so well by, you know, people that you don't know is just, it's really great.
Yeah, you've got some history with Australia. Your fiancée studied out here and she's been saying, you've got to go out there and you'd love it. Was she right?
She did a semester at Bond University back in college, and all I've been hearing about for the past 7 years is we should move to Australia. Australia's awesome, the people, Australia this, Australia that. So I finally got a chance to see it firsthand, and she was right, it's a hell of a place.
And we love having you here. I know a lot of the fans have come up and said, well, how do you like our country, Evan?
Yeah, and that's pretty nice, because when people come up to me and they say, oh, how do you like it here? That shows me that they have a lot of pride in their country, and they care whether or not people like it, and that's nice to see, because I think everybody should be proud of who they are and of their country, and I think that means a lot.
Well, mate, we've had a great tour. You've come straight from the Mr. Olympia. Now, for those that don't know, you had a great rise to the top. You turned pro. We talked about this briefly yesterday. Your 4th ever amateur bodybuilding show. You won your pro card. You make your pro debut in New York at the New York Pro, one of the toughest, probably top 5 tough shows to win in the world. You win. You go across to the West Coast, the Flex Pro in Los Angeles. You win that, beat Mr. Olympia's Dexter Jackson, Dennis Wolf, all these big names, Marcus Rule, Dennis James, in your first 2 shows. It's been an incredible rise to the top. How has it been for you to come, I guess, quite quickly through the ranks, just to be, for one of the guys who was at the gym as a fan, to suddenly you're into Mr. Olympia? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
It's really pretty surreal, you know, like Tony said. After turning pro pretty quickly, and then making my pro debut in New York and standing on stage with guys like Marcus Rule and Dennis James, you know, guys that I was just looking at in the magazine, you know, when I was a kid. So to finally be standing on stage with them, it's just crazy. And even now, having done the Olympia a couple of weeks ago, when I stop and I think about it, I'm like, wow. You know, when I was an 18-year-old kid, you know, working at GNC in the local mall, you know, I would pick up the magazines, you know, Muscular Development, Flex, Muscle Mag, and read them all. And, you know, the Olympia, you know, and to actually, at 18 years old, there's no way I ever thought I was going to be standing on the Olympia stage one day. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Now, we talked about that. I was lucky enough to be working backstage, doing some interviews, and I said to the fans, a lot of them that are here today weren't here yesterday. You were backstage, and I couldn't help but notice you were the first one to arrive. All the figure girls were getting ready, and the 212 guys were pumping up. There was one pro there in the open, was Evan Centipani, just sitting there just going, wow, just taking it all in. You were very relaxed and cool for your first Olympic, and I think you were also the last to leave. How much did it mean to you just to be backstage with those guys and be part of just such an enormous event?
Yeah, I mean, you know how many times I've watched the Olympia DVDs and seen that backstage pump-up area, or, you know, watched Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler walking down the hallway, you know, to get to the backstage. So to actually be there, you know, walk down that hallway and hang out in that pump-up area, it's just, again, it was a surreal feeling.
Now, Mr. Olympia, coming to Mr. Olympia, because you won so many bloody shows and beat everyone along the way, a lot of people had very high expectations on the net, and some of your sponsors, different people said, well, Evan could be top 5. It's his first Olympia, and they set the bar really high for you. You come in and you took 8th spot, and let me tell you, I was there, folks. It was Evan, Tony Freeman, and Dennis Wolf all fighting for the 6th spot. 6th, 7th, and 8th, there was nothing in it. Evan finished 8th, so 8th in your first Olympia is no slouchy effort. You've cracked the top 10, which, you know, not even Ronnie Coleman did in his first Olympia. 2 questions. Were you happy with your placement from the judges, and were you happy with Evan Centipani as an athlete? Yeah, I
mean, like you said, you know, to be in the top 10 in your first Olympia, I couldn't be anything but happy with that. That being said, you know, knowing what I feel I'm capable of, and knowing what I looked like, you know, a few weeks going into the show, I felt that I didn't quite nail it. You know, I didn't quite peak 100%, that I could have been a little bit better come game day. And for that, you know, I'm disappointed. You know, every bodybuilder, you know, you work so hard every day, you know, in the gym to make those improvements. And when you get on stage, that's really what you want to do, is you want to display those improvements that you made. And the placing, it kind of comes secondary to that. You just want to show improvement. You want to be better each and every time you get on stage. So in that regard, I was a little bit disappointed in myself. But the placing itself, you know, I couldn't be anything but happy.
You look very happy up there. I said happy backstage. It was just great to get to know you and to see you at the event. Now, where to from now? You've obviously cracked that top 10. You've got to go home and reevaluate your career. We'd love to have you do the Arnold Classic, because you know I'd lean on you to come out and do our Australian Pro, and I've been trying to get him to do it for 3 years. In fact, folks, this is why he's here now doing this tour, because we couldn't get into the Australian Pro, so we said, well, what about a guest post? He goes, oh, I'll do that. I've always wanted to come to Australia, and this 3-year journey for us has come together the last 2 weeks. So where to is it that you head from here, Evan?
I'm going home. I can't wait to see my daughter. I miss her so much. After that, I'm not sure. The Arnold's probably a little bit too close. I'm probably setting my sights on doing a show a little bit later next year, and hopefully re-qualify for the Olympia and give it another crack.
And just maybe get into that top 6 this time?
This time.
All right. Evan, everyone loves hearing us talk because we're so interesting, but they really want to see you guest pose. At the end of the day, we can talk all day, and they're just going to say, get your shirt off. So can you go backstage, get your shirt off, pump those bloody ridiculous muscles up, and come out and show us your Mr. Olympia routine. Evan, send a party, ladies and gentlemen.